bespoke radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oh, yeah, Fade to Black. Thursday night, Fader Night, bespoke radio for the masses. That's right. Today is Thursday, February 23rd. 54 days into the new year, just 311 days left. We are live from a bunker somewhere downtown Burbank, California. And I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States. Hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the Planet. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking? We got a big night in front of us. Just poking around, looking at Twitter, looking at the chat rooms. How is everybody doing tonight? I got to tell you, the mood is pretty incredible around here. More on that in just a minute, because tonight is Fader Night with Jon Rappoport. His No More Fake Newsroom Live, followed by Open Lines. The call-in number is 323-825-5045. Big night. We're going to do the big reveal here in just a second. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. That's what you want to do, at JChurchRadio. Follow us on Twitter. The sandbox is hashtag F2B. Questions or comments during this show, hashtag F2BQ. That's simple. Let's get her done. Got a lot to do tonight. Cannot wait. Let me get everything out of the way, then I'll get to the big reveal. Okay? How is everybody? I'm in a great mood. The mood here, six floors down, is pretty incredible. The bunker. Look, I'm rubbing my hands together. Yeah. The hallways here, people are dancing. All right. Where am I? Oh, email, Jimmy at jimmychurchradio.com. And there you go. Look at... You guys are the best, man. Ace Frehley will always get a retweet. There you go. All right. Email is Jimmy at jimmychurchradio.com. Before I get to the simple things, we do have our podcast. You can subscribe to that. That's only $2 a month. 600 archive shows over. Apps, Apple, Android, go to iTunes, Apple Store, all that, all platforms. Click on the banner over at jimmychurchradio.com. All right? Do I sound enthusiastic? Yeah, it's cool. All right, for $2 a month, what do you want, right? Okay, there you go. But do check out all of our sponsors. Click on their banners, jimmychurchradio.com. Use the promo codes for discounts and free shipping. River Moon Coffee, Fade to Black Blend, Life Change Tea, GetTheTea.com. Of course, Studio Dome and their Fade or Not specials. All of the tech gear that you would ever need for your ghost hunting or your podcast. You want to record, you want to set up a home studio, you want to record your guitar. Go to Tascam.com. These are all sponsors of our show. Okay? It's the American thing to do. Right? Okay. Contact in the Desert's coming up May 19th through the 22nd in Joshua Tree, California. Tickets and info over at jimmychurchradio.com. Speakers this year include George Norrie, Graham Hancock, Jacques Vallée, Robert Bivol, Robert Schock, David Wilcock, Corey Good, Jim Mars, Giorgio Tsoukalos, Richard Dolan, Andrew Collins, who's going to be on with us next week, by the way. Linda Moulton Howe, Whitley Strieber, David Serrata, another 30 or 40 or 50. Look at the Rob Halford. That's old school Rob Halford right there. I think that is that from Breaking the Law? Is that from Breaking the Law? I think so. That might be from Breaking the Law. Okay. All right. We are giving away passes, though, to Contact in the Desert. There's only one entry per person. You go to our website, you're going to click on the contest banner. The pass is non-transferable, everybody. So listen to me. If you can go and enter the contest, okay? If you win and you cannot go, let us know. That way we'll be able to draw another name and somebody else can win that can go. All right? Be a good FADERNIGHT. Behave. Thank you and good luck. That's what I'm talking about. All right. The big reveal. All right. I'm just going to do it like this. Over the last year, we have been working hard here at Fade to Black. And we have put together a membership area. Okay? It's over at jimmychurchradio.com. You click on the membership tab over on the end, on the toolbar at the top. There's a membership tab. You click on that, and you go to the membership purchase area. Let me explain to you a few things. And this is how cool we are. This is how much we love all of you. Okay? Now, we're very careful about how we wanted to put this together because this does not change Fade to Black. Fade to Black itself, everything stays the same. Okay? So, the website stays the same. The show live stays the same. All of our syndication stays the same. Libsyn stays the same. YouTube stays. Nothing changes. All right? So everything that you know and love, all the chat rooms, everything, Twitter, everything is exactly the same. All right? Everything that you know and love is there. But we put together a membership area now. And we wanted to make sure that it was the coolest thing ever. And so we worked. And we didn't announce this. We haven't spoken to anybody about it because it was a monstrous, mountain-sized labor of love. Okay, so now you can go and check it out. And I will walk you through this so you understand exactly how cool it really is. All right, so go and click, and you click on the membership purchase tab. And the first thing that you will see here, the Fade to Black membership, you have entered our secured membership page. Okay? And the first level, let me explain to you how this works. This is our membership page, and it's secure. We did everything on our own. So we've got the proper security stuff. We've got the proper business stuff. We've got everything in line and secure. That's the first thing. Second thing, we will not share your data with anybody. All of this stays inside of Fade to Black. It doesn't go to any outside companies. Everything here is managed by us. Need to be very clear here. All right? Becoming an official FADERNIGHT has its privileges, and we wanted to do something cool. We wanted to do something different, and so this is how we've got it laid out. All right, we are going to do for the first 30 days, starting today, we're going to do a contest. All right, very cool. We are going to be giving away a Tascam DR100 Mark III. All right, the most premium digital recorder on the market for your ghost hunting needs, for your music needs, whatever you want to do. All right, this is the best recorder out there. So we're going to give one of these away, all right, that as a gift for you. All right, now we've got 4 levels. All right, more on the DR3 or DR100 Mark III in a little bit. But and you can go to the Tascam website. You can click on the links here, and you can go and check out the recorder yourself. But we have 4 levels. Now, to become a FADERNIGHT, it's free. All you got to do is give us your email. All right? That's all you've got to do. You register with us. Let us know that you are a FADERNIGHT, and that's it. And so what you will get for being a FADERNIGHT, right, it's very simple. You can hang out with us every night, but every Thursday night, you're going to be able to check out our webcam, the bunker cam. That's all you got to do. All you got to do is register. And then every Thursday night, boom, because you're a FADERNIGHT, you're going to be able to do that. All right? And it's that simple. And you become part of our family, if you're not already, of course. And then the second level, and I want to make this very clear here. We have over 600 shows. Now, to archive 600 shows and to do it correctly, you can imagine 3 hours per show. If for 3 or 4 years, it is a huge amount of data. This audio that we have now thrown in the archives, and you'll be able to go and check that out too. That audio, all commercials are removed. Everything has been optimized. Everything has been compressed correctly. Everything is the most pristine audio possible. Okay, now it took forever to get this done. We're still not done, by the way, but more on that in just a bit. But so if you want and you just want to do a month-to-month thing, that's fine. That's the bunker. Okay, so and with the bunker, you're going to get the live studio cam every show, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And you're going to have access to all of the 600-plus commercial-free archives in Fade to Black. And you're also going to get a private email back to me. That's it. How cool is that? And I will write back, by the way. And then the next level is the Bacon Bar. The Bacon Bar is everything that you get with the bunker. It's everything. You're going to have access to the commercial archives. You're, of course, going to have the studio cam. You're going to have the email. But you're going to get a 40% discount. And that's a 1-year subscription, $60. And you're going to have access to the archives, commercial free. Just run straight through. And the download and the systems that we have implemented here, which I've personally tested, you go and you click on download. And it took me today to download a full show 2 seconds. 2 seconds. All right? And then we have the Game Changer. And that's $99 a year. Now, if you enter or if you subscribe to the Bacon Bar, you subscribe to the Game Changer, you do a 1-year subscription, you will be entered into the contest for the recorder. And we're going to do a contest every month. We have really great sponsors here, and we will have the best, the coolest prizes every single month. 1-year subscription, your name goes in the hat. It's that simple. And we're going to do this every single month. Now, with the Game Changer, you're going to get a Fade to Black t-shirt. You're going to get an autographed Fade to Black hat, right? And this is a perfect thing to give to a gift for a friend or a loved one, you know, or somebody that you just want to get exposed to the truth, like your boss at work, right? And you're going to get everything from the Bacon Bar and the bunker. And with the Game Changer, and you're going to get a t-shirt and an autographed hat. All right? So there you go. Commercial free. Now let me get back to the audio. Right now we are uploading as we speak. All right. So when you go back and you go to the audio page, and which is simple enough to do, and you go just click on the membership portal and you're registered and everything, and you'll see right there archives. Archives are now set up. It's beautiful, by the way. So we've got it set up in sections. Right now we have 500 through $5.99, 400 through $4.99, 300 through $3.99. We have 200 through $2.99 ready to upload, and that will be happening over the next day or two. Remember, everything here is indexed, full show descriptions, show titles, episode numbers. All of this has to be done correctly. The files themselves are perfect and pristine. Everything is here. Okay? And then we will get the first 100 shows will be up in about 4 or 5 days. And then we're done. And everything is there. Now, we have everything current by tomorrow, the next day. Give us some time. We've got 350 shows are uploaded already and ready to go. How many are you going to listen to in the next 3 days, right? Okay, so we are current through 6/13 by tomorrow morning. Those are being indexed as we speak. We decided to launch everything today and do the big reveal today. Why? Because it's just putting it off for another day or another day or another day. No, the excitement was there. And today, once we tested the engine, did everything, and I watched everything work, I couldn't believe it. No hiccups, flawless, beautiful, done. So the registration process is simple. Go ahead and pick what you want to do. Boom. You're going to get an immediate email. Bam. You can watch it all happen in real time. The email comes in with your new name, whatever it is that you want to call yourself here. And then, boom, you click on the link. You go back. You change your password. Done. Active. It's that simple. Happens within seconds. The how smooth it runs and the way that it works, it's going to flip you out. All right. And again, I want you all to rest assured that this community, the Fadernauts, your privacy is paramount. That's why we went with an internal company. Your email or anything that you share with us, you are only sharing with Fade to Black. There's nobody external here. Nothing. It is all in-house. And we pulled it off. So I just want to thank all of you. One of the things we were concerned about is we didn't want YouTube to change. The people that go to YouTube. I get that. They go to YouTube. The people that feel the need for apps and the way that podcasts run, Libsyn is still there for you. It's only $2 a month, but you're going to get commercials. That's not going to change. So for $2 a month, if that's what you want to do, boom, you listen to commercials. If you want everything commercial free and you want all the benefits and you want the live video feed and the bunker cam and access to me and all of that, that is what this is done for. Okay, it's just a little addition to everything else that we have built. It was a lot of work. It was a lot of stress. I can guarantee you this. Today, when I saw the machine run, I don't think Rita has seen me dance like that ever. Okay? So there it is. There's the big reveal. For all of you out there that have asked for this, and it's been constant. We started putting this together last year, and I thought to myself when we had 500 shows, we've got to go back and edit out the commercials for 500 shows. And so we started. And then the next thing you know, we're up to 600 shows. It just kept on going and going and going. Meanwhile, building this engine and making sure everything was secure and the right certificates and the security built in for all of this, it was a lot of work. All right. I want everybody to thank Rita. I want everybody to thank Drew. The amount of work that has been done, it has been 24 hours a day. When you think about everything that we do here, not only Fade to Black and the conferences and the booking of the guest and the websites and all of the social media and throw in Coast to Coast and throw in History Channel, everything that we do, there's no days off. And on top of all of this, that's one of our big secrets, we've been doing this in addition to everything else. So I want everybody to bang out a big thank you to Rita and to Drew in Twitter. Please let them know how much you appreciate all of this hard work. It's been absolutely incredible. To see it actually work, to see it actually run is incredible. So when you go and register, you can just go ahead and start at any level. That's fine. That's fine. Is how do I say this? When you see it actually work, when you see how smooth it is, it's just going to put a smile on your face. Okay, so become a FADERNIGHT. That's all you got to do. Just an email. That's it. And then go through the process. If you want to do a month-to-month, fine. Commercial free. Download, done. All right? Then there's the bacon bar and, of course, the game changer. There you go. All right. More on this throughout the show tonight. I know you guys are going to be calling in and asking questions. Feel free to ask me anything tonight. And, again, this was all done for you. All right. Where am I with today? Oh, wow. See? That's the big reveal. So let's get to our birthdays today. Comedian, actor Aziz Ansari today is 34. Singer Howard Jones is 62. On this day in history, in 1958, five-time Formula One champion Juan Manuel Fangio of Argentina, one of the baddest dudes in history, is kidnapped in Cuba by a group of Fidel Castro's rebels. He was taken from his Havana hotel, and then he was released 2 hours after the race. They intended to, embarrass Batista. Well, they ended up overthrowing the government completely a few months later in January of 1959. Fader fact, the Inca Empire was the largest empire in pre-Columbian America and possibly the largest empire in the world in the early 16th century. But trip on this, it existed for only 95 years. And that is a Fader fact. All right. Tonight's Fader Night. Jon Rappoport's going to be here in a few short minutes. Call the numbers 323-825-5045. Okay. Rita just said Michael Spiteri is the first subscriber to Fade to Black. I'll just say that out loud. That's cool. All right. Let's do this, everybody. Amazon has filed a motion to quash a warrant seeking data from Amazon Echo devices that prosecutors think may be evidence in an Arkansas murder case. The move pits the technology company against law enforcement in the case that could help define that thorny and emerging area of the law, whether and how our always-on devices, our smart devices, can be used as evidence in criminal proceedings. The case centers around the events from a night back in November 2015 when James Bates, a former Walmart employee, invited friends over to his Bentonville home to watch a football game. The next morning, Bates called 911 to report that one of his guests, a former police officer named Victor Collins, was dead in the hot tub outside. Well, he was arrested, accused of murdering Collins and seeking to cover up the crime. He denies the charges, and the case will likely go to trial in the next coming weeks. But during the investigation, and in the absence of any potential witnesses, police focused on the devices in Bates' home for evidence. The Echo, in Bates' case, it was sitting on his kitchen counter. And you know what the Echo is, that connected home assistant. That is voice activated when you use the words, "Hey, Alexa." Amazon says that the device sends audio information back to its headquarters only when it hears its wake words. But the device also preserves a snippet of audio from before the wake word was spoken, as well as other non-audio user data, raising questions about the precise mechanics of its gathering information on its surroundings. Prosecutors filed a search warrant December 2015 seeking electronic data from audio recordings, transcribed records, or other text records related to communications and transactions between Bates' Echo device and Amazon servers. However, for more than a year, Amazon has delayed. But on February 17th, it filed a motion seeking to quash the warrant. Now, this is the deal here. Amazon customers have expressed concern about disclosure of their purchase choices and have indicated a reluctance to use Amazon for online purchasing if their privacy is not protected. That's according to Amazon. Now, this is the deal. Local prosecutor Nathan Smith will likely have to fight Amazon in court. He argues that there simply cannot be zones in life where the police are not allowed to tread, or we risk creating safe havens for criminals. Amazon looks to set and argue that the Echo is a First Amendment and privacy issue. Now, this is the deal here, and I've stressed this enough. You don't know when your smart devices are recording you, video or audio. You just don't know. Now, the fact that, and in Amazon's case, and where the prosecutor here is freaking out, is that Amazon says that its servers are activated after Alexa and the activate words are used, but that there's actual audio just before. So wait a minute, right? Is that a time machine kind of thing, right? It hears the activate words and then it's recording. No, it means it's always recording. It's always recording. Okay? Think about what I am saying here. So with the police, all the police want to know is this device is sitting in this guy's kitchen. He's killed somebody. It's recorded the entire event, and they want to know, right? And I understand there's a lack of witnesses here. So I understand. I fully get it. But the other issue is you're being observed all the time. You think that when you say Alexa, that device is activated at that point. That is not the case. That thing is recording everything that you do all the time. And that is not a First Amendment issue. That's an extreme issue. That's a 1984 issue. That's a whole nother level of issue. And I don't know what's been cleared here. I don't know what has been disclosed to Amazon customers. But if they are telling you that all you got to do is say Alexa and then that thing kicks in and then you don't have anything to worry about, you need to stop and think about this for a second. Everything is being recorded. This is Fade to Black. It's Thursday night. Jon Rappoport and his No More Fake Newsroom. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. It's Thursday night. It's Fader Night. Open lines in 30 minutes. 323-825-5045. I'll be right back with Rappoport and his No More Fake Newsroom live. Stay with us.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Yes, Rivermoon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Hi, folks. In a world of GMO, genetically modified organisms, that is, chemicals, processed foods, and a healthcare system that's unraveling like a cheap suit, it's time to prepare. God created herbs, and herbs help man. Our body can heal itself, just sometimes we need assistance. You need some help? GetTheT.com. That's GetTheT.com. Our mild detox is quite powerful with its unique blend of 8 different herbs. And if you're looking for more, our non-GMO supplements will help you with different needs you might have. Health should be a top priority. Take care of your health naturally. Log on to GetTheT.com. That's GetTheT.com. Give your body a treat. Let the herbs do their thing naturally. Read all the testimonies on the website, GetTheT.com. That's GetTheT.com. Sickness and viruses are like intruders, and herbs are like warriors. Let the tea work for you. That's GetTheT.com.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Hi, this is Chase Kletzky with Fate Magazine Radio, and you're listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station, where the Fadernauts rock.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Manson. You're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
And now, coming to you from the No More Fake Newsroom in deep space, which is the space that we suspect to be true, that the world as it is fed to us every single day by the Ministry of Truth is a lie, a false reality, a movie projected on the screen of our subconscious. This, however, is the breakout. All the screens crash, they all go down, and we see the light of day, a new day. No more robots, no more androids. It's the No More Fake Newsroom with Jon Rappoport. Take it away, John.
Thank you, Jimmy. Good to be here, folks. Good to be here as always. All right, several stories tonight. Number one, a medical story. HeLa cells. The woman's name was Henrietta Lacks, Lacks, and in 1951-52, her cells were taken from her body. She was a patient, and they were used, and are still being used, in laboratory studies. It's called cell lines. You take cells that reproduce themselves very well, and you can do all manner of experiments on them, and they are crucial to medical laboratory experiments, for example, in testing for the safety or toxicity of medical drugs. Well, I was aware in 1987-88, while I was writing my first book, AIDS Inc., of a book called Conspiracy of Cells, and the author was talking at that time about how these HeLa cells had gotten loose in laboratories all over the planet, and they were contaminating other cell lines that were being used in laboratories for experiments, and in most cases, the overwhelming majority of cases, the researchers did not know that, and so all their work was tainted and distorted, unknown to them, as were the results of what they were doing, by the fact that the HeLa cells were spreading everywhere in laboratories. A man who was in charge of a cell line bank, and I believe he was in Oakland, California, through some heroic efforts over a long period of time, managed to bring most of this under control. But lo and behold, I've read a recent article, and they're back. They are back. And the article correctly points out, and these are conventional medical experts that are attesting to this, that thousands of published medical studies are now completely useless, as in useless, because these researchers, thinking that they were doing work on certain other cell lines, were actually doing work on these HeLa cells. This is a major, major story, but of course, it's not being played up and investigated and pounded upon by mainstream media, and so the story will appear and disappear again, just like it did the first time. And medical journals who are completely aware of this, and the article points this out, will go along and for the most part do nothing about it. They will just keep publishing studies, and doctors and lab workers and so on who are aware of this will pretend that everything is okay when it obviously, fantastically, is not okay. And more medical studies, which all sorts of people will claim are extremely useful and important and meaningful and authoritative, will be completely useless. And this will distort the entire practice of medicine. Yeah, so that's story number one, to whet your appetite. Story number two. I believe I have spoken about this before, but I want to renew it again. And since I published a piece on this at No More Fake News, the interest has spread. This is about the next generation of vaccines. Based on an article in the New York Times from 2015, March 3rd, what researchers are now working on is, and this is their claim, the discovery of genes, all right, genes, which can be synthesized and then injected into the body, which will produce in the body immunity to various diseases. In other words, this will function, they say, as the latest and greatest form of vaccination. And in fact, the genes will be carried into the body by a virus. Researchers will take an inactivated virus and they will insert the gene into the virus, and the virus will carry it into the body, and the gene will be placed somewhere on the person's DNA, and it will make them immune to various diseases. Well, this is an experimental procedure, and there are certainly problems, but human clinical trial began in 2015, so we can assume that almost 2 years later, other human experiments have begun. So if you're already becoming a little bit wary, you should be, because of the whole idea of injecting genes into the body, genes that the body would never possess unless they were injected into the body. And there is a kicker to the story. And the kicker is that once these genes are injected, your DNA is permanently altered with the addition of that gene. So this is not a temporary visit. This is taking up permanent residence. And in fact, in the Times article, they interview a Nobel laureate, Dr. David Baltimore, and he says, yes, very interesting indeed, but I would imagine that some people might be leery about the idea of altering their DNA. Really? You think so? Yes, indeedy. Altering your DNA permanently. And it's my considered opinion that if this were the case, you would now also be talking about passing the altered DNA down through generations, mother, father with child, who now contains the combination of the parent's DNA plus the altered genes, or the genes that were sent into the body as vaccination. And this will proceed down generations. These researchers really don't know the implications of what they're doing. How will these synthesized injected genes integrate or not integrate or combine in response with other genes that are already present naturally in the body? What will be the result? Unknown. We'll see. We'll see. And of course, this gives rise to the whole idea of injected genes through experiments on the population in order to produce certain effects. For example, what would be desired effects? Making people more docile and obedient, for example. Or making some people much stronger. Restructuring society through genes and DNA. This would have much wider implications in the long run in trial and error experiments on the entire human population. Again, this story has not been picked up in any serious way by major media. Their strategy is, well, we published it and that's a bit. We don't have to go any further with it. No, we don't have to investigate it. We don't have to connect dots. We don't have to think about implications. Of course not. No, it's already been covered. Really, 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 really. This is gigantic. This is a gigantic story. I think that those of you who are out there that are doing your own research and are interested in this area should investigate, search around, see what else you can find out about this, because we are on the cusp of Brave New World with this. Take it out much further than vaccination or the traditional idea of, well, we're doing vaccination in order to immunize people against diseases. Take this much further out than that, because that's where all the implications really, really, really are. Yeah, okay. Story number 3. The CIA versus the president. The intelligence community versus the president versus the intelligence community. This story does not depend in the slightest on what you think of Donald Trump. Doesn't, whether you like him, you hate him, you're indifferent. This is reality, okay? This is just pure reality. And I'm going to give you a little history here. In 1947, President Harry Truman created the Central Intelligence Agency, the CIA, which was supposed to be mainly a collection agency, collect information, vital intelligence, and pass it on to the president. The whole idea of clandestine services branch, dirty tricks, overthrowing regimes, assassinations, etc., was not in the mandate of the CIA as Truman set it up. And in fact, later, he commented that these people had gone way, way beyond his intentions when he set up the CIA in 1947-48. Next president of the United States, Dwight Eisenhower. 1952 to 1960. Near the end of Eisenhower's term, he initiated a policy with the Soviet Union called Open Skies. And this was an attempt to create some kind of détente, a more warm, less frigid, antagonistic relationship between the two superpowers. They were both doing high overflights of each other's countries in order to do intelligence work. And so what Eisenhower and Khrushchev agreed upon was, look, each of us will allow these flights from the other country, okay, but they will be monitored. They will be monitored. At that point, Eisenhower ordered the CIA and Allen Dulles to stop doing a particular kind of spy flight over the Soviet Union, and Dulles intentionally disobeyed the order and continued the flight. And that led to the infamous downing of the U-2 flight of Gary Powers over the Soviet Union in 1961, and the plane crashed, and it created a huge international incident that frigidified relationships between Soviet Union and America once again. And what we were seeing there is essentially the CIA saying, well, we run things. The president doesn't actually have control over all of this. We are guardians of the security of the United States, and as such, we can take matters into our own hands. This was the CIA versus the presidency. The president happened to be Eisenhower, but it didn't make any difference. The war of who is really running things, who is in charge. Let's fast forward to JFK. John Kennedy ordered the Bay of Pigs, the invasion of Cuba, in 1961. And after that disaster was over, and American soldiers were killed and Cubans were killed, and the whole invasion failed to take over Cuba and unseat Castro, Kennedy was furious and claimed that the CIA had betrayed him, and he, according to some reports, said he was going to splinter the CIA into 1,000 pieces, and he fired Allen Dulles as the head of the CIA. Dulles continued to work clandestinely as if he were still the head of the CIA after that. And of course, Kennedy did not disband the CIA. And according to many counts, when he was assassinated in 1963, it was with participation of the CIA. The war between the presidency and the CIA. Flash forward to the early 1970s when the president of the United States was Richard Nixon. Nixon was threatened with ousting from his presidency because of Watergate. He eventually was forced to resign because he would have been impeached. He left the White House in disgrace. And in a very long article at No More Fake News called Watergating Trump 2017, I go through the Nixon history of Watergate in a completely different fashion from what you've read. The major point here was that among all the various shenanigans and crimes that Nixon was committing in the White House, his biggest sin was that he had started to lay on tariffs against certain foreign corporations that were shipping goods into the U.S. in order to level the playing field for U.S. corporations that were making the same products here. This was a no-no, a serious no-no. Nixon was a favorite of the Rockefeller family. The Rockefeller family, whose main mission in life, you could say, in a sense, was trade treaties that would be free trade, no tariffs for predatory corporations to run wild around the world. I've talked about this before. They had rescued Nixon from financial ruin. He was their boy. And there he was in the White House, suddenly going off script and doing the most outrageous betrayal of the Rockefeller family, and they had to get even with them. And the process was to enlist Katharine Graham, the publisher of the Washington Post, who was very close with the Rockefeller family. When she eventually died, the Rockefeller Trust employees paid for a heartfelt obituary in the New York Times. The editor of the Washington Post, Ben Bradley, had once worked writing copy for a CIA front group in Europe. He worked in naval intelligence, and so did Bob Woodward, who did the Watergate investigation, etc., etc., etc. There was no way that this investigation was going to proceed from the Washington Post with two cub reporters who were just getting their hair wet. And the whole reputation of the Washington Post and Katharine Graham's empire was on the line if they got the story wrong. In other words, the story was known to the major principals, Bradley, Katharine Graham, before it ever began. And the operation was get Nixon and get him out of the White House. It succeeded. David Rockefeller went to Europe and addressed big economic heavy hitters and said, nothing to worry about, free trade, no tariffs is back on track. We have a new president in the White House, Gerald Ford. And in fact, Ford had chosen David Rockefeller's brother, Nelson, to be his vice president. So everything was hunky-dory again. And now we come to Trump. Regardless of what you think of him, regardless of your feelings, your opinions, and so forth, regardless of even whether you think he's going to carry out really any of his promises, he committed a major cardinal sin during the campaign, which was he was the first modern president to bring globalism and free trade and all the crimes of the globalists out into the open repeatedly over and over and over and over again. And in the process, woke up people all over the world to what's happening with the theft of jobs in industrial nations and the fact that these predatory corporations are getting away with paying no tariffs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That was something no president should ever utter or speak about, and Trump did time and time and time and time again, and actually said, I'm about nationalism, not globalism. And so the underlying reason that you see the major press attacks and the attacks from the intelligence community and the CIA on Trump is because he has spoken out of school, and this must not be permitted. The intelligence community and the globalists in concert run the show. They run the country. They're in charge. They're the bosses. And so they are doing the 2017 version of a Watergate on Trump, and they will keep on going and try to get him out of there one way or another. And that is the underlying basis of the insanity that is going on as reflected in the mainstream press. But behind it, you have the CIA, the NSA, the entire intelligence community, or I should say, to be more precise, certain powerful elements of the intelligence community that hold to their steadfast belief that they run the country. They're in charge, not the president. And they want to assert that at this time, just as they have asserted it throughout the history since their creation, and I've given you a few of the highlights of that history. That is the major war that is going on right now that involves the presidency. It would have involved anybody in the White House who spoke of globalism the way Trump did. And it is going to continue, and you are going to continue to see the fallout from that quite spectacular, incredible struggle that is going on. And it doesn't necessarily matter who Trump has put in place as the head of the CIA or any of the major intelligence departments, agencies, and so on and so forth, because these agencies are gigantic, and they have people in them that have been there through one presidency after another. And these people do not intend to release control of the nation. That's their game. It has been since the beginning. And that is my report for tonight, folks, and I thank you very much.
Hold on a minute now. I have a question for you, John.
Yeah.
Do you, when you go to bed at night and you lay your head down on the cool side of the pillow, do you just smile? You must, because you're fighting the good fight.
Yeah, in that respect, I feel like, okay, I figured out what is the side of things that's the good side, and that's the side that I am talking about.
Do the voices in your head keep running? Do you just constantly have the wheels turning?
Mm-mm.
How do you?
No, I don't. I mean, sometimes, but no, I used to, but I think part of the reason that it's not happening anymore is because I've been working at this for so long.
Right.
The die is cast.
Right.
It's not like, should I or shouldn't I? Or no, I already have. So I'm going to keep doing it. So that's just the way it is.
Yeah, because with me, obviously listening to you and the other guests that I have and the research and stuff, I am constantly thinking about our world and our audience, and I'm concerned. And the only way I can really escape at night, if I don't shut off the voices in my head, right, I have to listen to something else. I have to get distracted, or I'll never get to sleep, because I'm always thinking about our audience and the message and you and everything else that's out there. It's a constant thing, pushing things forward, moving it. I mean, I just cannot stop thinking. And for you, I can't imagine what goes on in your head at night. And I'm sure, like I said, you sit and you smile because it's another day complete. But do the wheels keep turning, and how do you shut it off? I'm looking for advice.
I don't know what advice. I don't know about advice. I'm concerned too. So with me, it's a matter of trying to line up things. Okay, what's the actual truth here?
Right.
If I can find that, okay, that's my work. That's what I do. So, all right, here's another area where I've gotten down to the bottom, and that's what's going on. Okay, here it is, folks. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. So that gives me, on a personal level, enough satisfaction. So, okay, now I'm ready for the next one tomorrow. So I tend to sleep pretty well. I mean, I'm not what you would call a, sound sleeper 8 hours a night. No. But, when I wake up, it's time to go back to work,
That's what I'm talking about. Jon, just thank you so much for all that you do, man. And the audience loves you, and they're here every single Thursday, to hear you. And I just want to thank you again.
I really appreciate having the space to do this. So my thanks go out to you and your audience and Rita.
Thank you so much. And as I always say every Thursday, have a great, safe weekend. Keep rolling that rock uphill. Thank you so much, Jon Rappoport. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Jon Rappoport, everybody. The absolute very best. NoMoreFakeNews.com is the website. Start your day every day right there. Man, he's smart. All right, opening up the phone lines, 323-825-5045. What do you think about that big reveal? Huh? Have you become a fade or not? It's free. Just go. 323-825-5045. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I'll be right back. It's Thursday. I'm in the chair. Let's do this.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio.
Hello, I'm Katie and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA Digital Broadcast Station.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to jimmychurchradio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier, and this is Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. Well, yes. We are of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier, and I'm Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers, and you're listening to Jimmy Church. The Revolution.
What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring 2 Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hardshell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The 2 full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129, and use the promo code JCRTWS, and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to jimmychurchradio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go Beckley Tepe.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure. I went from being able to work 14, 16 hours a day with no problem to where I could barely walk a block to the store. I went on to the phytonutrients about 6 months ago, and within a couple of months, my medical doctor had cut my prescriptions down in a little bit smaller dosage. The next time I went back a month later, I walked into the doctor's office and he says, "My gosh, what's happened to you? You don't even look like the same person." He looked at my legs and the swelling had gone down. My blood pressure was down. The venous stasis ulcers that I had had on my legs for the last 4 or 5 years because of the poor circulation were all healed, and I'm feeling far better.
The new challenge will allow you to receive 2 months of Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies free. And we'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-246-8751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code TALK.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
All right, welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter, @JChurchRadio. Email is jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. This is truly bespoke radio for the masses. Tonight, Thursday, it's Fader Night. Open lines all night long. If you're on hold, stay right there. 323-825-5045. Okay, the big reveal tonight. Yes, we've worked really hard for the last year to present to you a real membership area for Fadernauts. Okay? To become a Fadernaut, everybody, it's free. All you got to do is register, and everything stays here inside with us. Okay? And just becoming a Fadernaut and joining the circle, you're going to get a video feed every Thursday night, Fader Night. Okay? That kicks off on Monday. If you want to become a bunker member, you get the studio cam every night of the week live from the bunker. You're going to get access to over 600 commercial-free archives, a private email to me, everything that you would want, right? And that's just a month-to-month subscription. There you go. Or you can go to the yearly Bacon Bar, okay? 60% or $60 a year. And look, I don't want to sound like I'm pimping here. I am happy to be able to even say this to you. Commercial-free archives. There you go. Live video streaming. All right? Nothing changes here at Fade to Black. If you want to go to YouTube, you want to listen to the show live, you want the Libsyn, whatever, chat rooms, Twitter, nothing changes. This is all in addition to. Everybody that has popped in tonight and that has registered and subscribed, I want to thank all of you. I mean, I am just fired up about this. You guys are so cool. All right. And we put in so much work. I got an email from Stacy. I'm just going to read this really quick, Stacy. I'm going to throw you under the bus a little bit. She says, I was a Coast Insider for a couple of years, but then I ate the bacon.
and slowly migrated fully to your show. Truly is far more engaging conversations. Plus, this amazing community means I am never listening alone. I have my friends in the sandbox. I've been a podcast subscriber for Fade to Black for months, but I'm really happy to actually support the show a bit more and skip commercials. You are in my ear, car, stereo, kitchen, all the time as it is. Thank you, Jimmy and Rita. Thank you, Stacy. I just wanted to read that. This is what's happening right now. Okay, so just, again, thank you. And then the Game Changer, which is there if you want it. You know, T-shirt, autographed hat, all of that stuff, and you get everything else. But it's also the perfect gift for somebody, too, as well. All right, yearly subscription. But as our gift to you, we're going to be giving away this month, 30 days from today, we're going to give away a Tascam DR100 Mark III digital recorder, $300 retail value, microphones, it's +4. It's got preamps in it, compressors. It records a backup file. So when you're recording, by the way, check this out with the Tascam. You're recording with it, and you're in the dark, and you're running around, and something loud happens. Okay? Check this out. It will record a backup file at a lower volume at the same time. So in case something happens and your file it's too loud, some scream happens, you're going to have a backup file there. That's how cool this is. It is as professional as anything you can get on the market. Courtesy of Tascam, giving it away. All you have to do, yearly subscription, Bacon Bar, Game Changer, your name goes in the hat. There's already been a bunch of subscriptions tonight. Their name's in the hat. 30 days from now, we're going to give one away. A month after that, we're going to do it again. We're going to have a really spectacular gift, a gift package for you. And the month after that, we're going to do it again. All right, it's our gift to you. Nothing changes here at Fade to Black. I want to make that clear. Everything is the same. How cool is that? This is just in addition to everything else. And we wanted to make sure that you Fadernauts were rewarded in the right way. All right? There you go. Please consider subscribing today. Let's go to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling? You're live.
This is Nathan.
Hey, Nathan. How are you?
Fine. I have a story for you.
What have you got, Nathan? I love a good story.
All right. This is an abduction story.
When did it happen?
This happened when I was this was the summer between 7th and 8th grade. I'm 32 now.
Okay, so not that long ago. So, okay.
This wasn't my first abduction, and it's not been my last. This is just one of the more vivid ones.
Tell me about it, Nathan.
All right. So I was spending the summer in Missouri with my grandmother and my aunt and my uncle and my cousins, and I was staying at my aunt's house in my cousin's room, and I had just fallen asleep, and all of a sudden there was something at the window, and I knew there was something at the window, and I opened my eyes, and what I saw was my recently deceased grandmother from my mother's side of the family.
Okay.
And she was kind of translucent. She didn't look like she was in a good mood. She looked really haggard and disheveled, and she just kind of floated out of the room, and I followed her out of the room. And I came to the end of the hallway, and there was this being there, and this being was kind of looked like Roger, built like Roger from American Dad.
Oh, okay, I got you.
black eyes, and it was shorter than me. And I mean, I'm like 5'6", so it was a shorter, grayish, tannish color, and it went out the door, and I followed it out the door, not really thinking about it. I was kind of in a trance. And there was a craft. This craft was way too big to have really been there, in my opinion. I don't know how it was where it was. I mean, this was a farmhouse in Missouri, but it wasn't like we didn't have neighbors.
Right, right.
And it was probably only about 50 feet off the ground. And I only remember it vividly because it was purple, and it was a disc, and it looked like it had gold trim. It was very ornate. It surprised me how ornate it was, and I don't remember how I got on the craft, but the next thing that I do remember is that I'm in a purple room. This room is squared off. The reason it's purple is because the walls are lined with paneling that give off light, and it's like black light almost.
Gotcha.
And I see my aunt. I see both my cousins. And
what were they doing? Were they sitting, standing? What do you mean that you saw them?
They were standing. We were all in this rectangular room.
Okay,
together.
let me, Nathan, so was everybody in the house with you too before this?
Yes.
Okay, I got you. So this is your family is all in this room.
Yes. I haven't decided whether or not they were really there. Like, this could have been an illusion.
Okay.
But they were there. And my cousin was like, well, looks like we just got abducted by aliens.
Wow.
And
wow.
My aunt pulled me aside and tried to explain to me that they were angels.
I'm listening. Go ahead. Yeah, continue.
Sorry.
No, that's all right. That's all right. You remember, silence in radio, right? We can't.
Right.
So let's just keep moving forward here. So your aunt says to you that these are angels, but you don't know if it's really your aunt there, that it may be an illusion, right? And I understand all of that.
Based on my past experiences, I don't know if I can trust when I see somebody or not.
Sure, I get that.
And the next thing I see is my uncle, who is on a table, which is tilted upward, and there are three beings working on him. The three beings were tan in color, taller than the other ones, thinner than the other ones. I wasn't close enough to get a good look at that point. And then the next thing I remember is I'm on my back on a flat surface, looking up, and I see three beings. I can't make out their facial features because the light is so bright, but I can make out the fact that their heads are very rounded and almost like Spider-Man's head when he has his mask on, but it was very strange. Because the light was just so bright I couldn't make it out, and my next memory is waking up in bed. But, get this, Jimmy, the bed that I had been sleeping in had been moved all the way across the room and up against the window. And I was still in it.
Wow. Interesting.
That's my story.
Wow. Did it ever happen again, Nathan?
Yeah, I've been abducted before, and before that and after.
Same craft? Did it look the same, the purple with the gold ornate trim?
I think I've seen it before then, but not since then. I think I've been abducted by the same aliens, or if they were aliens, I don't know.
Right.
My experiences say that there's a lot of chance that they're not aliens. There's a lot of chance that they're monsters from hell.
Did did your family talk about this?
No, they did not.
So you don't know if they were actually there or not?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
It was...
Yeah, and I know it must be difficult to talk to your parents or your aunt, your dad, and you've chosen not to.
I'm very religious, and we live states away, so it's not like she's family that I've moved all over the country, and so I've lived various places, and this thing's followed me everywhere I've gone.
Right. Interesting. Very interesting, Nathan. The craft, and before I let you go, I want to thank you for calling in and sharing this with us. Were there any reports in the area about, any other sightings that night or that week?
That I don't know.
Yeah.
I just don't know.
Right.
It was, after I woke up, I remembered it, but because nobody acknowledged it,
right.
I just put it off as a dream again.
Right. Of course.
It wasn't until I started putting more puzzle pieces together that I realized it wasn't a dream.
Yeah. Nathan, what I want you to do next Thursday night, next Fader night, call back and share another of the experiences with us, and let's see if we can start to put the dots together.
All right.
All right. Thank you so much,
Jimmy.
Nathan, man, and be safe out there.
All right. Bye.
Thank you so much. What a great phone call. Thank you, Nathan. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hey, Jimmy.
Hey, who's calling?
This is Eric.
Hey.
I think some of you might know me by a different name. Okay. That would be Lieutenant Commander Gonzalez.
Okay. How are you, man?
I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
It's another Thursday night, man, and it's always the best night of the week, right?
Oh yeah.
So what's cracking?
Well, just kind of want to put you guys on notice a little bit. We're kind of stuck at a cusp right here. Guys seem to be sitting around, not saying you personally, but there's everybody in general. We need you guys got to kick it up a notch. I know some of the things that I'm going to say you're not going to like to hear, as in one of the main ones, as Corey said before, you got to change what we eat. It all starts right there. And it comes down to the question you have to ask yourself. Do you live to eat, or do you eat to live? Because if you eat to live, you're not eating all the stuff that's presented to you that's easy. You follow what I'm saying?
I'm trying to. Continue.
Okay. Well, it's very simple and hard at the same time, because everyone seems like they're sitting around waiting for a savior. And you got to realize you're the savior. I'm the savior. Not waiting for a hero. I'm not a hero. Corey's not a hero. You guys, everybody who's listening, you guys are the heroes. You follow me?
I do.
Oh, sorry. Never done the radio before.
That's okay. That's okay. Relax.
The phone was ringing for a long time. You called me off guard. I was eating a snack.
Yeah.
Been running around all day.
You should see these phone lines here, man. They're going berserko right now. So, but you got through. That's all that matters, right? Okay. So,
yeah.
But I do hear everything that you're saying. What's most important, and this conundrum of everybody waiting around to be rescued, right, or a savior on any front, right? On any front, it is something that has gone on throughout history, right? And there is a difference with either you're a mover, you're a doer, or you are not, right? And the ones that choose to listen to this show, they are the movers. They are questioning everything. And I say this all the time, and I mean this with the greatest of respect, not only to this audience, but to people that are new to this too as well. With my audience, I'm speaking to the wrong group. I am, because they're here, they get it, right? Right? What?
Very true.
Yeah, and so I just wish I had 1 million people that were different than the ones that are listening to this show right now, and that are maybe curious, right? And they're interested, but they don't have a clue. That's who I need to speak to. That's who you need to speak to. That's who this audience needs to speak to every single day. They need to go up to somebody fresh, right? And go check out Fade to Black. Go read this book. Go watch this YouTube video and spread the word. And then, so that I totally hear you. And having the, how do I want to say this? This dependence on disclosure, this dependence on something happening it's not going to happen that way. It's not. It's up to us. It's up to us. We are only this show, this is only a catalyst. It's a mechanism to do things, but it's not going to do things for you, right? We're a collective, and we need to continue to push forward. If we just sat back and expected things to develop on their own, it's not going to happen that way. You got to keep your foot on the gas. You got to keep the pressure on. So you're absolutely right. I don't think that's difficult to understand. I think it's difficult to understand, and it may hurt to those that don't get it. And there, I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah, those are the ones that are hardest to sway.
Right.
Because half of them, they can't even fathom it. They can't think it. The thought can't even enter their mind that the world can be a different place.
Well, why do you bring up Corey, though?
Why do I bring him up?
Yeah, you brought him up out of the gate. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I bring Corey up because everybody gets wooed and awed by, like, oh my gosh, of outer space, aliens, and all this other stuff. And the message that we get back from them is, this is a personal thing. You got to start this small, humble, humility, service to others, raise your vibrations. And the reason I jumped on food right away was because it's the simplest way to start it. It's the simplest way, and trust me, I was the biggest meat and potato guy you will ever find. Red meat, potatoes, I didn't want a vegetable or anything.
Mm-hmm.
But once that changed, everything got so much easier. And things are, it's not easy. Like, I can get help. I've had help, healing and stuff like that. But that was for other things. That was basically them shining a flashlight into a forest and saying, there's the path. But there was no path.
Right. And
you still have to walk it.
Yes, but let me give you another example. And you're right. Okay, I'm not in any way being argumentative here, but if you have a child or a family in some third world country, of which I have witnessed myself with my own two eyes, right? Okay, mm-hmm. I was sitting on a bench enjoying my lunch. And I see, this is just in a third world country, not in the United States. And I see these two kids, 5 years old, 4 years old, crawl underneath a fence, run across a freeway in front of me through traffic, and help each other into a garbage dumpster, climb out of the garbage dumpster with 2 half-eaten hamburgers, and run back across the street and underneath the fence to these shack homes made out of cardboard. Now, in an instant like that, are you going to tell them not to eat meat? Okay.
No, I would not say that.
That's what I'm saying here. We need to be cautious. I'm totally with you, but there is a reason for food, no matter what it is, man. Right?
I totally agree.
Okay.
But that also goes back to what I said before, where if people could imagine how the world could change, and more than half of them can't even imagine that it can be better than this.
Right.
It all ends up being, it has to start somewhere.
It does, and you're absolutely right. And that's what I'm saying. We need to be cautious in the message, but we need to be aware of what we're trying to say. So I totally agree with you there. But if you're looking at a starving family and you're going, look, man, all I got is this bag full of burgers. I don't have any fruit here to give you. So sorry, I'm not going to give you anything. Right? That ain't the way to go.
Oh, mm-hmm. Then it goes back to the whole survival thing in the situation that we're in this planet.
Sure. Absolutely.
Where you're just waking up, struggling, going to work, coming home, hoping you can pay the bills and provide for your family at the same time.
Right.
And that goes right back to where we are, where people can't even imagine. I've had this conversation 1,000 times.
Right.
People, They can't even think of a world without struggle like that.
That's right.
Because it's so ingrained into their heads.
That's right. And one of the biggest eye openers for me was being able to get out of the United States. Because there's so much food here. There's so much of everything here, right? Money and opportunity, But you always hear those famous words, right? The streets are paved with gold here. Well, when you leave this country and you go to a spot where, you know what, it's pretty screwed up, right? And then you kind of get the vibe of what the United States is about. And then you start to appreciate what we have here. But you need to kind of leave before you can preach here in the United States. You need to go back out and experience the world and then come back here and start to appreciate how good that we have it here. Or in Canada, or, Australia, United Kingdom, or, you know what I mean? Germany, France, Spain. But you go to a place where they don't have all of that. Education and healthcare and food and jobs and television, things like that. and then you get a bigger appreciation for it, because some of the people here in the United States that cry and ask for saviors and this and that, they have not experienced what is really out there. And then maybe you'll come back here and actually do some work. So there you go. Thank you for the phone call, man. Are you there?
You're welcome.
Yeah, I got to head to a commercial right here, man. But we took it up to the bloody end. What was your name again? Gonzalez?
Yep.
That's what I'm talking about. Thank you for the phone call, man. Don't be a stranger.
All right, no problem.
You got it. Great phone call. That's what I'm talking about. That's what Thursday nights are here for on Fade to Black. I'm going to take a quick break right here. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Thursday night, Fader night. If you're on hold, stay right there. I'll get to all the calls. I promise. All right? 323-825-5045. I'll be right back.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Oh, fall. My favorite time of year. Cooler temperatures and, well, let's be honest, layers. Lots and lots of layers. Look, I get it. We all have that favorite hoodie. Matter of fact, I've got a few favorite hoodies. You should wear yours. Enjoy it. I do. But I stay focused on my health year-round. And for me, I take Nature's Youth RSF from nature'syouth.com. Nature's Youth RSF from nature'syouth.com. I eat right, control my portion sizes, still maintain a commitment to regular fitness, and I get plenty of rest, and I take Nature's Youth RSF. It's okay to cover up your beach body for a few months, but don't just forget about it. Nature's Youth understands exactly what it means to provide top-quality health products, and Nature's Youth customers not only improve their health, they know they're also providing their body with the right nourishment to maintain peak performance levels and fight the aging process. So layer up and get started today with Nature's Youth RSF. naturesyouth.com. Simple to use, even simpler to order. Go to naturesyouth.com. That's naturesyouth.com.
I have actually been on Balance of Nature for a year now. I have MS, and I recently had an MRI. This is the first year that I've had a stable MRI, so I'm thrilled. When I have an MRI with MS, usually there are glowing spots that come through, which is damage on the nerves in my brain and my spinal cord, and when they're glowing, it means they're active. And then my last MRI, they pulled it up, and I honestly couldn't believe that it was my MRI. There was nothing glowing. And in fact, the dark spots were shrinking. They were healing. And the doctor actually said to me, I think we're in remission. I was so happy. I had no idea that that could be my reality.
The new challenge will allow you to receive 2 months of Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies free. And we'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-246-8751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code TALK.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Welcome back. Fade to Black, Thursday night, Fader night. I'm in the chair taking your calls. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Email is jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. Let's go right back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hey, Jimmy. How's it going?
It's going good. Who's calling?
This is Michael in Buffalo, or Kelborn on Twitter, if you guys are...
Oh, there you go. Oh, I see you here. I got through. Oh, that's when I put you on hold. See, that's what's really cool about this is I don't screen the calls. I'm the operator. I'm the engineer. I'm the producer. I'm in the chat rooms. I'm answering email. And I'm talking, and I'm dealing with Rita on another screen, right? All at the same time. You got to love. One of these nights you should come in to the bunker and watch how all of this happens. You will trip out. Anybody that makes it into the bunker and sees how this show was done every single night, you trip out. And so there you go. So I answered your call, and I saw your tweet at the same time, and you're here. How cool is that?
Awesome.
All right, man.
I want to start off by thanking you for the work that you do, because I discovered this show haphazardly through YouTube about 8 months ago, and it actually led to me meeting my current girlfriend, and we connect on this show and all the stuff that you talk about all the time. So I want to start off by thanking you.
Oh, man. So it's my new name, Dr. Love.
Yeah, I guess it is.
All right. Very cool. Very cool. All right. So welcome, first-time caller. And I'll just say this, man. What's on your mind?
Hey, I had a little short, I don't know if I want to call it an abduction story. It was sort of an ET communication vision type of thing that happened to me. So I originally started off by getting into a lot of Stephen Greer's work and the things that he'd done. And one night as I was laying in bed, almost on the verge of the dream state, I guess you would call it, and I can only call it a vision. I can't call it a dream, because you know what a dream feels like, and this did not feel like a dream to me. and I was laying on a table, and there were maybe 5, 6, 7 different beings, all the same look, and it almost reminded me of like the brown monster from Where the Wild Things Are. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Okay, I'm with you.
But in any event, I'm laying there, and I can't recall. I can recall trying to like clear my vision, almost like when you first wake up and you have that blurred vision and you're trying to blink to clear it, but I couldn't do it, and I could hardly see what was going on around me, but I didn't feel threatened. I felt completely safe, and these beings were trying to communicate with me, asking me who I was, where I was from, and it felt almost like an inquisitive type of thing, but not in a threatening way whatsoever. And I can almost remember like an antiseptic type of smell, I would describe it like.
Wow.
But that's all I can really remember. It was a very strange thing. It's the only time that's ever happened to me.
And the antiseptic, okay, how close were you? I mean, that's an interesting observation, right? So was this something that was, like offensive, like body odor, or were you like right up on it where, you were smelling the skin? I mean, what are you trying to say?
I don't know if I would describe it that way. I can remember being laid down on some type of table, almost like it was a medical room of some kind.
Sure.
But again, I did not feel threatened at all the entire time. And it wasn't offensive or overpowering in any way, but it almost like if you were laying down in a hospital or something, that type of cleansing antiseptic smell. That's the only, I can remember it as clearly as it was yesterday.
Wow. And what else do you remember?
Honestly, that's all I can remember is a feeling of inquisitive nature from them.
Right.
But no words were exchanged. It was all telepathic communication the whole time.
Wow. Do you remember anything that was said or relayed?
The only thing I can remember is them trying to find out who I was, where I was from. But things were kind of foggy after that. I don't remember much.
Right. And was this a singular event, or did it happen again?
It was a singular event. It's the only time it has happened since or before. I've dealt with other ET experiences, seeing craft and stuff like that, but never anything like this.
Would you do it again?
All the time. I find it exciting when I hear other stories.
Right.
For instance, originally my girlfriend was like, my son was telling her about how he met this alien and they took him outside and they were watching TV, and she's telling me how scared she was. And I said, oh, well, if your son told you that he didn't feel threatened, you should be happy. I was actually getting giddy listening to the story on the phone.
Wow. I want to thank you for sharing that, actually. And if anything happens, at all, what I would try to recreate the moment, and that's my advice. I've tried to, get back into the frame of mind and tried to recreate things, and it's never worked. Right? Everything that has happened to us, Rita and I, or me by myself, was always like an accident. Right? Didn't ask for it. It was just right there, and it just happened. But I want it to happen again. So I what they say, right? Be careful what you wish for, kind of thing. But I'd visit it again. I don't know about the dude being in my room thing. That kind of freaked me out. But as far as crafts or seeing things or something strange in the sky, something landing somewhere, definitely. I would love to have that happen again so I could push it. I don't know if I would jump on a craft. I don't know. Would you?
100%.
Yeah, there you go, Kelborn. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, man, have a great, safe rest of your evening, man. And thank you for the phone call, and good luck on your relationship. What's her name?
Appreciate it. Thank you, Jimmy.
What's her name?
Michelle.
There you go, Michelle. I'll talk to you. Thank you, Kelborn.
Take care.
I'll talk to you. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Jimmy, it's Site Tracker. Second-time caller, sir. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. How are you?
You hear me okay?
I can hear you. You can speak up a little bit, but I've got, control over here too as well. Where are you calling from? Oh, now I've lost you. Okay, call back when you get a better connection. Let's go here. I'm just going to go in order here. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Turn me down in the background. Turn me down. 3, 2, 1.
Hello?
You're live. Turn me down.
Yes, hello. Yes, hello.
Hello.
Yes, hi. My name is Dwayne.
Hey, Dwayne.
Yeah, I got a story, I guess. This happened when I was about 17 or something like that.
Uh-huh.
My high school high. At the time, I'm a little nervous, man. Sorry.
That's okay. Don't be nervous. Don't be nervous. Take a deep breath. Tell me what happened.
Well, at the time, I used to live in Arizona, in Flagstaff. And my family, like myself and my brothers, my two brothers, drove up north to the Lake Powell area. That's where my family is from, Hello?
Yep, got you. Tahoe.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm not sure, on the way back to Flagstaff, this was around 10 o'clock in the night. And out of nowhere, we just spotted these lights, flashing, kind of like, what do you call it? It kind of looked like it was copying the landscape or something like that,
Okay.
And when I started listening to your show and all that, I started doing some research, like Arizona MUFON and all that type of stuff. And so far, I haven't even found anything yet.
Did you, at that time, you didn't report this, did you?
No, I didn't. We didn't report it.
Right. No pictures or anything like that. I know that you didn't, but I have to ask, right? No pictures?
That's the strangest thing, though. We had some of those old type of, remember those disposable cameras and all that?
Yep.
Yeah, we had one of, a couple of those, and we were about to start driving towards it, but we just kind of froze on the side of the road,
Right. Right.
And we're just looking at it for a while.
Right.
And next thing you know, we just kept looking at it. I'm not sure how long, but
yeah, well,
but we just sat there for a few hours and all that. I guess I'm not sure.
Wow. And did it end up taking off?
No, it was just freaking kind of out doing the outline of the landscape and all that,
Right.
Yeah, there were a few different type of colors to it, There was blue, green, red, amber color, and all that type of stuff,
Wow. How far away was it?
From the main road, I say about 3/4 of a mile or so.
Oh, so it was right there.
Yes, it was right there.
Wow.
I'm not sure if you're familiar with Flagstaff.
Oh, I've been there many times. Yeah, I've been there many times. Many times.
Yeah, it was just right outside of that little place called Gray Mountains, I think it was.
Sure. And, Flagstaff, it's a name that we all know, but it's a pretty small town, and it is, it's in the middle of nowhere in Arizona, too, as well. It just pops up, and there it is. So that's an interesting sighting. Hey, Dwayne, thank you for the phone call, my friend. And if you see anything else...
I've also seen some strange stuff out down by Phoenix and all that,
Well, again,
maybe, Yeah. Maybe next time I'll try and call in.
Yeah, definitely.
Not be too nervous and all that,
No, that's okay. And next time you'll be more relaxed. But, yeah, Arizona, man, Arizona, New Mexico, that's all desert. It's all wide open. There's things going on out there all the time, Dwayne, all the time. So, yeah, definitely call back. Your line's breaking up a little bit, but call back and share with us what you've seen out there in Arizona. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Dwayne.
Hey, thanks, Jimmy.
Thank you. First-time caller. That's what I love about Thursday nights. All right, K28's on the line. K, what's up, my brother?
Hi, Jimmy. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, Kay. How are you?
I'm fine.
What's cracking?
Well, talk a little bit about Conscious Life Expo.
Okay, go ahead. You've got some wind going. Are you on Pacific Coast Highway with the top down?
I'm actually in the den sitting on the couch.
Oh, okay. I got you.
I don't know what the wind is.
Okay.
Maybe I'm too windy.
So what's up, my friend?
Yeah, I guess the main theme at Conscious Life Expo was Antarctica. Don't you think so?
I 100% agree with that. Yeah, Antarctica was on everybody's mind.
Especially what Linda Moulton Howe had to say about her contact, Bruce. Wasn't it Bruce?
Yeah, that was pretty interesting. I mean, she had everybody riveted with that, and I talked to her briefly about it later too as well. But you're absolutely right. Antarctica was the word of the moment.
Yeah, about that rectangular no-fly zone, and then the big, huge 300-foot diameter opening that slid into the ground somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fascinating.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then Buzz Aldrin. That was one of the questions I asked you to tell the panel, and then you asked him, and it was interesting how everybody talked about he was brought in there because of who he was, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, well, see, and the thing is, we haven't heard this much about Antarctica in the last, 30, 40 years, like the information that we've had in just the last 3 or 4 months. Tomorrow night over on Coast to Coast, I'm going to have Corey Good on. Tomorrow night, we're going to discuss the latest developments and everything. It's what people want to hear about, and I cannot wait for tomorrow night with Corey.
Yeah, maybe you have a live broadcast from Antarctica in the future.
Yeah, you never know, Kay. You never know. All right, my friend. Thank you so.
Reader will love that.
And thank you so much for calling in. And I see that you've registered over in our membership area, man. Thank you so much. Yeah. You're a true FADERNIGHT. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
K28, everybody. All right, let's keep it going. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Jimmy.
Yes.
Second time caller, sidetracker. Sorry, we got cut off. You hear me okay now?
Yeah, now I got you.
First time I called you, we talked about NARM.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Okay, and then we talked about Father Malachi Martin.
Okay, a little bit. Yes, I remember that.
Yeah. When you were back on the other DM deal,
Yes, the DM deal. Yeah. It's been 3 years.
But I got to say, I reconnected with you recently, and things are going well. And with this NASA update, and I'm right in the heart of all that. I'm very close to the shark bite capital of the world, without getting too crazy. Right. They don't want to. They just want to nibble on us. They don't want to eat us. Right. So anybody can Google that. But I don't want to. I'll be triangulated pretty soon here anyway. So not that I'm hiding anything, Jimmy, but I'm telling you, I've had 4 experiences. I was an astronomer. I was 13 years old when they landed on the moon. My anniversary of my birth is the same day as the LA invasion in 42, except I was born 17 years later.
Oh, interesting.
Different deal.
Yeah. What was that?
Yeah, very interesting. So
right.
I've had some out-of-body experiences over the years. I've had 2 what I would consider like a dream state. As a matter of fact, like tonight on one of these TBS channels, they had The Inception on, and then they had Matrix right after it. You don't think that's a coincidence that they just had this NASA announcement yesterday, and now they're starting to rerun this stuff back to back?
Well,
right?
It's always fascinating to me to see it pop up. And there was something else that I wanted to, I didn't get around to, but Rita and I lately have noticed if on Amazon Prime or Netflix or any of the other digital networks that are, popping up right now. And if you go and check that out, the amount of, and I'm talking about the huge amount of documentaries, of alien documentaries, Egypt, Lost History, Anunnaki, science fiction movies like Inception or Matrix, the amount of programming that is on there, it is endless. And I'm talking about thousands and thousands of things. And it just runs off in a row. And you go and you start surfing around there. The new television series, the repeats, the documentaries, the feature films out of Hollywood. The amount of that type of programming out there, alternate universes, time travel, string theory, visitors, paranormal.
Yeah, like you said the other night with your colleague about Lost in Space, Star Trek, everything that's been on Starship Troopers, all the different things, it's there. It's been soft, but I think it's increasing, and I think with this new administration, we might see some other things going on. You never know what's going to happen. Like you said about the spoon.
Right.
Spoon.
Right.
Go take a picture of the spoon. Look at the pictures.
Right.
They don't lie. It's a digital age. Photoshop, yes. And all the other digital effects you can do, but it's more than a soft disclosure at this point. I think we're on the path of seeing something. I hope in my lifetime and yours that we can see something really come to fruition. This is going to be great.
Yeah, and thank you for the phone call, and you're absolutely right. And welcome back to the show.
All right.
I'll talk to you.
Crack her out. Talk to you later, boss.
You got it. What a great phone call. All right. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hi, Jimmy. How's it going, bud?
It's going good. Who's calling?
This is Jason from Baltimore. How you doing?
Hey, man. How are you?
Hey, I'm great. It's a pleasure to talk to you. Look, I'm not going to take up too much of your time, but I just wanted to say that I came to you from Coast, and since I found your program, man, it's been fantastic. I really appreciate being able to be a part of the FADERNIGHts, man. It's been great. I did want to mention one thing. I had this experience in Baltimore. We were driving down towards Baltimore City, and there was this black circle that hung in the sky. I know it may sound weird, but it was clearly just like a black circle. And I tried for a while to reason what it might be. It was not a helicopter. It was not a balloon. But thus far, nobody has been able to tell me what it might have been.
Was it during the day?
Has anybody ever talked about something like that?
Well, let me ask you, was it during the day? Well, if it was a black circle at night, you really wouldn't see it. So this was during the day.
No, this was during the day. It was broad daylight.
Right.
And, you can tell what a helicopter is. It had no propellers. It had no blades. I apologize. I'm a little nervous. I didn't expect to be
That's okay.
Right on the air. But, no, it was very odd. And I followed it for maybe a quarter of a mile and hung in the air. And we sort of lost sight of it for a while, me and my helper, and it just disappeared. And I've not been able to find anybody who verified it. Has anybody talked about any sort of thing like that? I mean, I've never really seen anything like that before, and it really shook me.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting here? What was your name again? I'm sorry.
Jason.
Yeah, Jason. We go through cyclical sightings, right? Flying saucers or black triangles or V-shaped craft or cylindrical cigar shape. We've had everything, right? And right. Maybe, and I've heard a couple of comments like this over the last couple of years, but just maybe a black sphere could be, maybe what's next. I find that very interesting, but I'm glad that you came forward with this, because what that allows everybody to do, Jason, is go, wait a minute. I saw something like that. Jason's right. You know what I mean? And that's what's most important here. So never forget about that. If you see something, call in and tell us, and did you report it to MUFON? Did you,
I didn't. I thought about it, and then as the days go on, Jimmy, these sort of things sort of blend into the background, and it becomes an oddity. But it sort of stuck with me. I mean, I've had very few sightings. Mostly lights moving in the skies, things that unidentified. I don't know what they are.
Right.
But this was very odd. It was literally like a black sphere in the sky, and then the next thing you know, it was gone. And it was pretty, to be into all this stuff and to actually see something, it's pretty shaking. It shakes you a little bit.
Well, let me ask you this, Jason. How old are you?
Mm-hmm. I'm 40. I'm actually turning 40 in a couple weeks.
So that means you're old enough to remember hammerjacks.
Yes, I do remember hammerjacks.
Did you?
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that.
Did you? You knew I was going to. Come on.
It's a Baltimore landmark. You have to remember hammerjacks.
Now, who did you see at Hammerjacks?
Oh my gosh, you know what? I wish I was cognizant enough to remember. You get down there, hey, let's go to Hammerjacks, and then the next thing you know, it's the next morning.
Right.
I hate to admit that sort of thing. That's sort of how it works.
Hammerjacks, everybody, is one of the great rock and roll clubs in the history of the world, and it happens to be in Baltimore. And it was this huge place. I don't even know how to describe it. Warehouse type building underneath a freeway. And
underneath of 83.
Underneath a freeway. And it was a labyrinth. It was huge. Upstairs bar, lower, just incredible stage. And the biggest and the best bands played there. And there you go, Hammerjacks of Baltimore. All right, Jason, thank you so much for the phone call, my friend. And if you see anything else, let us know.
And I'll see you at Contact in the Desert, hopefully.
I'll see you at Contact in the Desert. I got a shirt for you.
Thank you very much.
You got it, Jason.
Bye,
thank you. Yep. What a great phone call. All right, with that, I am going to, everybody else, if you're on hold, stay right there because I do got to take a quick break. Got to pay the bills. You know the drill. So we'll do that right now. If you're on hold, stay right there. This is Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black. It's Thursday night. It is Fader Night. 323-825-5045. Great phone calls tonight. Back to back to back to back. That's what I'm talking about. More of your phone calls next.
Hi everybody, this is Rob Halford, the Metal God on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
KGRA Radio. Intelligent talk.
PatriotPrepared.com carries the leading brands of storable food from Numana, Legacy, and Heaven's Harvest. Patriot Prepared. Our name says it all. We're dedicated to empowering you to be self-reliant and confident in any circumstance. Whether you want to be prepared in the event of an emergency or you're an outdoor sports enthusiast, PatriotPrepared.com has prepackaged meals and kits for your entire family. Legacy, Heaven's Harvest, and Numana are known for high-quality, great-tasting GMO-free, nutritious food with no chemical preservatives. Simple to prepare, easy to store, gluten-free and organic high-quality nutrition options with a 25-year shelf life. You can't beat the feeling of being food secure when you need it most. So go to PatriotPrepared.com right now to pick up your supply of high-quality storable food for your family because it makes good sense to be prepared. That's PatriotPrepared.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Would you like relief from muscle pain, headaches, and discomfort to sleep better, have more energy during the day, and just feel naturally amazing? Fibromalic can help. Its blend of malic acid and magnesium can provide pain relief and comfort for those who experience fibromyalgia. It helps your body absorb more oxygen, and it works quickly for a significant reduction in pain within 48 hours, all without a prescription. Ask for Fibromalic at health and vitamin shops or shop fibromalic.com.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Teppy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why Fade to Black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. Thursday night, Fader Night. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Open lines, 323-825-5045. If you're on hold, stay right there. If you're calling in, I get it. The phones are jammed, but I love it. It's the only way that I would have it. This portion of the show is brought to you by River Moon Coffee, makers of the Fade to Black blend. All you got to do, go to jimmychurchradio.com, click on that River Moon Coffee banner. Use the promo code F2B Blend, 15% off of your order. The best coffee. I'm right now, check this out. That's how I get my pipes. Let's go to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hi, Jimmy. This is Mate from Florida. How you doing?
Mate, how are you, my friend?
Good. How are you?
It's a beautiful night, man. Now that you've called in, it's perfect. How's that?
Thank you. That's very nice of you. I wanted to ask you a quick question, your opinion about something about yesterday's show, the Ouija board.
Oh, yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, that was something. So I got really excited about this show, and when, Karen was talking about all these contacts, and you can talk to people who pass away. And, I was thinking my dad passed away in 2002, and I was really close to him, and I always wanted to see if I could contact him or talk to him. And do you think it's just a bad idea to do that, or it's not dangerous, or not? You cannot get possessed or anything like that.
Yeah, right. Well,
I don't know. What do you think?
Let me ask you this. Was your dad a cool dude?
Yeah, absolutely.
Then
he was a very nice guy.
Yeah, then do it. Yeah, absolutely do it. What I'm saying is, you're not going to make your dad mad, are you?
No. I was just like some people called yesterday, and they said that they tried this and they got their brothers possessed or something. So I don't want to do that. So.
Right. It's just like Karen said, and I do believe her. It's not the board is just a tool. It's more about you and who you are talking to, right? It's not the board. So if your dad is cool and he's not going to mind you reaching out, why not, man? And if it's something that you want to do, go and do it. And definitely, this is what I would do, Mate, is I would ask him a question that only he would know, right? Mm-hmm. So that way you know that the spirit isn't messing with you, right?
Right. Yeah. That was my other question. That how would you be sure? Or how would you know exactly that that's your dad you are talking to? Right. That's yeah.
And only he's going to know the answer to a couple of very specific questions, and then that's it, man. And then go and have some fun with it. But yeah, would I do it? I absolutely would, and I think that you should.
Okay. I will definitely try, and I will report back to you.
You definitely will. Thank you so much, Mate. Yeah. Be safe out there, my friend.
Thank you very much, and talk to you soon.
Thank you so much, Mate. That's what I'm talking about right there. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hi there. This is Kendra from Ventura, California.
Hi, Kendra from Ventura, California. How are you?
I'm great. I'm just smoking the beans and slapping the bass.
Okay.
in Ventura.
That's what I'm talking about.
If you recall from last week.
Yes.
Anyway, so tonight seems to be a night for sharing of high strangeness and experiences, and I certainly have one, but it's more of a spiritual nature.
Okay.
Probably, it was a extraordinarily profound spiritual experience. So I'm going to preface by sharing that in 2014, I was diagnosed with stage 4 terminal cancer, and still here, a walking miracle, actually.
Right on.
I should have been dead probably about a year and a half ago.
Right
Not.
On. Right on.
And I'm sorry?
I said right on.
Yeah, I'm a fighter. So in the midst of my brain surgery is when this experience occurred and really changed my life, or enhanced what I kind of already knew. So I'm in surgery. They're taking a giant tumor out of my brain. I wake up in the surgery room. At first I thought I was just like awake, like right out of anesthesia, but there was like no fear. I felt very calm, very peaceful. They hadn't started yet. I could feel like doctors and people moving kind of behind me. And I was laying in the gurney, and just woke up to that, but it was just a different state of consciousness. And I kind of just realized where I was, and I went, oh, okay. And then it was like snap quick. I was like out, and because when I came back like a snap later, it was a second in one sense, but I knew time had passed in another sense. So it was like another hour or so later in the reality of the surgery room.
Right.
When I woke, and I'm like laying in the gurney, looking down the gurney, like at my toes, kind of that in that space. And I knew they had started on my surgery. I could feel, them right there, but there was no pain, no fear again. I felt very calm. But what was interesting was that the hospital room wall started blending into another space. And it looked like an auditorium or a lecture hall in something like out of Atlantis. It was just stunningly beautiful with marble, and it was just this gorgeous place. There were, seats like in a theater, but I was still in my gurney bed. It was weird. I was like the two spaces were blended, and there was a stage that was only just 2 steps up, but very large, but not high, and milling about just in this empty stage were all these entities, these beings, from everything you can think of mythologically to creatures I had never seen in any lore or anything, here in this experience.
Right.
And I'm happy to share what some of those were, but it's a kind of a long story, and I want to shorten it for radio. So I'm just there, basically, and everyone was still kind of milling around, talking in little groups amongst themselves. And then they kind of all became aware that I was there and grew silent and kind of turned towards me. And I heard just kind of a general welcome. And, I felt calm, and I wasn't freaking out like, where am I? I was like, this is cool.
Right.
And I knew in that moment, for whatever reason, I made a statement. No one asked me this. I just knew I had to state whether I wanted to come or go. In other words, whether I wanted to stay in my body on the planet and continue living in that space, or, move on, pass away, and go to this place maybe or somewhere else. And in that moment, I was literally 50-50. I'm like, I'm fine either way.
Right, right.
If I choose, actually we choose. No one was going to send me anywhere. I knew I had that choice in that moment. So I just made that statement. So, and then it was like snap, and then snap again. So in other words, it's like, I came into these different scenes, But where I was when I wasn't in that scene, I don't know where that place is because it's just a void. It's just black, like I'd been sleeping and woke up. So the next scene, I am kind of being shown a film. And it wasn't in that same big lecture hall. It was someplace else, but it was just a big giant screen. And I was being shown basically the history of the planet. In other words, it was a giant download. I know I don't remember everything I saw because it would just be too much and my brain would explode. But what I did see was very visceral, like, Earth changes, volcanoes, like every conspiracy theory, who was actually behind it and what was really going on. And most of it, I mean, we're like 99%, all of us, right on. If you take what I saw and was shared with me to be true, then we're all right on the money.
Right.
And I felt every emotion a person can feel, probably times 100, from the depths of despair to the heights of joy, roller coaster ride. But it was like I was feeling that, but I was fine with it. It's hard to explain. In other words, I was like a bit separate from the experience. I don't know how to explain it because it was definitely a different state of consciousness. So I was shown that, and then basically was told at that time, and this is in 2014, June of 2014, that at that time that the, shall we say, the battle or, good versus evil, that the 99% versus the cabal was about 50-50 as far as just power, intensity, just actual power is about 50-50. And I was surprised. I thought, hey, man, I thought they were around 70-80 and we were like 20-30, so that's good. So, pretty, good odds.
Even playing field.
Right, even playing field. So then snap, and then snap back. And then at that point, I was shown what the future would be like if nothing happened, if everything basically stayed the same, the 50-50, and it wasn't pretty. Let's put it that way. Okay.
Right.
It's not like that future. If nothing was done, if none of us did anything a little extra, that's what it would be like. And I went, oh, holy cow, that's not good. So then snap back, and I was back in my gurney, still in that other state of consciousness. The surgery was kind of still going on, but everything, I just felt so peaceful, and I heard the most beautiful voice, like in my mind's voice,
right?
But it was like male and female blended, so it's like a very deep female voice, but it was like male-female blend, total equal. So it wasn't, a male energy or female energy. It was totally equal, but it also felt multiple. Like if you believe in the concept like I do of like a collective consciousness, that was collective consciousness. Or others might describe it as the voice of God, because it was that beautiful and that powerful. Even now I'm choking up because every time I tell the story, it was just the most beautiful, outside of my son's, laughter, most beautiful sound that I've ever heard. That said two words to me.
Well, Kendra, I'm sorry to interrupt, but how long did the surgery last?
It was 6 to 7 hours.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Okay, so...
Yeah. Well, the doctor said he took out of my head one of the biggest tumors he's ever taken out of anyone's body. So,
and it was and it was a brain tumor, but yet you sound perfect today. So it must have, was it? I don't want to be cavalier here, but did it affect you? It didn't affect you. I mean, you sound perfect. If you know what I mean, you know what I'm trying to say.
I've been through a lot. I've had it in the uterus, the lymph nodes, lung, and brain.
Wow.
Dead. And I'll share some other time. Next time I call, I'll give you little bits more and more. I don't want to take time from other people, but I just want to end with the most important part of this thing, this experience.
Okay.
The voice of God, collective consciousness, said only two words to me. And those two words are, we win.
We win.
And we win, meaning the 99%, the planet, Mother Earth, we win.
Wow.
And what that said to me is that no matter what they do, no matter how hard they try, how hard they hold on, the dark energy, the cabal, the evil, whatever, it's not working. It's too late. The transition into this new golden age that we're all talking about, the transformation and ascension and 5D and all that beautiful stuff, it's going to happen. It's a rocky road getting there, as it has been, and it's going to get even crazier, but we are so much closer than we've ever been to breaking through, and we're going to win this thing. And so since then, and that's helped me to fight the cancer, for sure, just knowing that, because I'm also an activist, so I work on social justice and peace and environmental issues for the last 3 decades,
Right.
So I really know what's going on and what needs to be fixed and all of that. And the biggest message from that, and coming home and having even more spiritual experiences after all that, bottom line is that right now what's happening is that the dark energy is being told, either come to the light, come on over, the water's warm, it's nice over here, you'll have more fun, or get off the planet. You're not going to be allowed here anymore.
Right.
So that's what's happening, and we're getting bits and pieces of that information from all the whistleblowers coming forward and saying, yeah, it's happening. But that's on the real spiritual level, in addition to all the exopolitics going on.
Wow.
So I just wanted to share that it's going to be okay. We win. It may not seem like it, but all the dark, vile, bile, icky stuff has to come to the surface in order to be scraped off and taken off the planet.
That's what I'm talking about.
And they're fighting deep as hard as they can, but there's less and less and less and less of them, of the dark energy, spirits or whatever. I don't know what they are, but it's dark and evil. So the last few are very stubborn and they're super evil and they're really going to fight, but it's too late for them. They're out of here.
Thank you so much for the phone call, Kendra. And so,
thanks for letting me share that long story.
two words: we win.
We win.
Thank you.
And then we can smoke the beans and slap the bass all we want.
I'll talk to you. Thank you so much, Kendra. Be safe
Take care,
out
man.
there. You too. So, grinding the beans and slapping the bass. Yeah, we win. That's a great phone call. Thank you so much for that. Man, 7 hours of brain surgery, tumor. Wow. And that was, that's a long time for a vision and a download and to see all of that. And Kendra, the next time you call in, we got to discuss some of those conspiracies that you were shown. Very interesting. Before I get back to the phones, and if you're on hold, stay right there. Okay, you're up next. But today, White House. Now, this is for all of you pot smokers out there, all of you weed smokers, the Mary Jane, the Puff Puff. White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer said today that the Trump administration is going to start stepping up enforcement of federal laws against recreational marijuana smoking. That's right. Now, I'm quoting here today from Sean Spicer. He literally said, and I'm quoting, "I do believe that you'll see greater enforcement." That's right. It's a question for the Department of Justice. Well, the Justice Department right now is Attorney General Jeff Sessions, everybody. And he said when he was being questioned about his new appointment, he said, "Using good judgment about how to handle these cases will be the responsibility of mine. I know it won't be an easy decision, but I will try to do my duty in a fair and just way," end quote. Now, I'm just saying here, folks, in reading between the lines, let's translate, shall we? Okay. This is what Attorney General Jeff Sessions actually meant. He actually meant all them potheads should get life in prison. Death row inmates, cellmates, they're all felons. Let's throw them all in jail. That's what Sessions said. I'm just saying that dude scares the crap out of me. So there you go. We made all of these movements forward. But you know what? It was fun while it lasted, but it's about to get ugly. Let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, Jimmy, it's Josh.
Hey, Josh, how are you?
I'm doing all right. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I got you, man.
I'm out here in BSE, man, and Towers 2 miles away. In NDE, the near-death experience, like the girl before, the lady before.
Right.
She's talking about SNAP.
Yep.
I've never disclosed this to you. I've been listening to you, man, since like the second show you did. And I get kind of emotional talking about this, but I'm going to tell you. I lost my father in 2005. He died in my arms, and got military honor, burial, World War II vet, had me when he was 40. July 2nd, 2010, about 10:30 in the morning, I'm driving to get a lady a stove. And this outside of Stephenville. I'm out in the country, about 10 miles in nowhere land, and I've been out to this place I don't know how many times, and I just looked out and I said, man, and I said it out loud. I said, it's a really beautiful day, and I'm in a little bitty Ford Edge truck, 5-speed.
Right.
I go to make the turn, and I'm going about 5 miles, maybe 3 to 5. I just started off, when this truck, 18-wheeler, they said something about it had about close to 80,000 pounds. It was with a hardware store, and it was fully loaded. And this jackass driving it was passed in no passing zone, doing 80 and hit me on the driver's door.
Ooh.
I went plumb over the top of the truck.
Wow.
Bounced, hit the top of the trailer, bounced, spun around, pancaked it upside down on the asphalt, rolled around, and rolled down into a ditch. Nobody saw this. This guy didn't even stop to render aid. He
Wow.
kept on trucking.
Holy crap.
Yeah. And it's kind of the way that the time is, I don't know, but I remember I didn't thank God that I didn't have full tank gas. I had about an eighth of a tank of gas. The gas tank broke, and I had gas pouring all over me, and I got so dinged that I thought that I was in a swimming pool, and because it was pouring down my throat, and and just all over me, and I couldn't see, and so I'm like started trying to swim up to the top of the pool, and it stopped, and then I'm sitting trying to get at, I can't figure what's going on, and I'm stuck, and all of a sudden then the pain set in, and I'm not a very religious guy. I believe in the universal God creator, and I was stuck, and I just yelled out, God, I need your help. That's all I need to say, man. And lights out, man, instantly.
Well,
and
hold on, Josh. Josh,
Uh-huh.
This is the thing.
Yeah.
You're here talking to me right now. So what happened next? I mean, you were rescued. What happened?
Well, I was out there for probably about 6 hours in this ditch. This guy called. They checked his phone records and his business, and he went about 20 miles down and parked behind a convenience store. They told him to detach the trailer and come back and take pictures of me. And he came back and took pictures of me and left again and left me again. And so anyway, there was a flash fire and I got burned. And some people were driving and they saw some smoke and they stopped and they were afraid that, the car, it was going to explode. And so they called the 911, and EMTs got out there, and the guy crawled in there and woke me up. But he later told me, said, I come to rest like that. I usually pull dead bodies out, and I came to mad as hell because he got me. The reason why was that I don't know that, I'm not going to say I was on a ship or anything like that. What it was, I was on my back. It was, I kind of could see to my right, and there was like this black rectangle, like a door. And everything was like white, and it was clouds. And then there was silver and gold glitter.
Wow.
And then all of a sudden, my father is in the, this is where I kind of lose it, but my father's, is in the corner, and comes up to me, and tells me he loves me.
Wow. Incredible.
And
it's okay, Josh, man. It's okay, man. Take a deep breath, man. You're a fade or not. It's okay. Wow. Wow, you got me all shook up. But this is the thing, and I just want you to realize, and I'm being serious here. You're here talking to me right now. Things, things all happen for a reason, man, and that's an incredible story. And when anybody, myself or anybody out there, you go to the edge like that, but you're back and you're here, and you realize that life is really special, man, and it's also very, very, very short.
It is.
So,
but she was talking about that snap. And it was like, when I came back, it was just like instant, just boom, almost like I didn't, just instantaneously came to. And I'll forgive this guy, I'm sure it scared the living hell out of him, he probably thought I was dead, but.
Well, what you see, this is
I lost my eye. I lost my left eye. My other eye came out, and the EMT, he had his gloves on and it had glass and stuff, and he grabbed it and stuffed it and popped it back in, and they had to cut me out. And when they did, he told me, he said, "I'm not gonna bullet BS you. When we do this, it's gonna drop and it's gonna break bones." And either that, I don't know what's going to happen, but I ain't going to, the guy is a hero, man. He, said, "I'm not going to leave your side." And I said, "Cut it." Because I said, "I am tired of being in here." So he did it. And then anyway, it went down. It broke my leg, my arm, and my ribs. It cut, the whole 9 yards, man. I'm in ICU for months and all that business. But it has blessings and stuff, because when I did get out, there was a girl that I dated, right? We were sweethearts. We were going to get married. Her dad worked for Halliburton. He got a deal in Jakarta, Indonesia, and
Well, you know what, Josh?
My son came in and was like,
Josh. Hold on. I got to take a break right here. I'm going to put you on hold because I'm going to let you finish. Okay? All right. So you just stay right there, Josh. All right. Stay right there. I cannot and will not stop a phone call like that. Josh is a FADERNIGHT. It's incredible. So we'll let Josh finish up. I want to hear the rest of this. This is Fade to Black. It's FADERNIGHT, Thursday night, 323-825-5045. If you're on hold, stay right there. I'm going to let Josh finish up right after this short break. Stay with us.
And you are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I had gout in both my knees, and it's gone.
Well, I'm pretty stupid. I should have ordered it 15 years ago. Best thing I ever got in my. It's the most effective product that I've ever bought in my life.
He had eczema on his hand, and it cracked for years. He did anything from doctor, every cream, everything. And 3 months on the veggies and fruit, it was gone.
They're just awesome. They keep asking me, what am I doing? I told them what I did with my cholesterol. I had the blood test, right? And it went down 100 points. 262, now it's 162. Everything is just perfect.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Call now, 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code TSL.
Would odors, mold, and mildew describe your basement or crawl space? It doesn't have to be that way. Transform them into a fresh, healthy, usable one with the technologically advanced Wave Moisture Control Units. The computerized operation maximizes moisture control and also expels harmful radon, combustion gases, and numerous other pollutants. Dehumidifiers are old technology that do nothing for air quality and waste energy. Wave units are intelligent, self-monitoring, do not need maintenance, and will save you hundreds in electricity. Wave units are still running effectively over 15 years. They've been tested and installed in public and military housing and by property managers nationwide. Buy a unit now, and if your home is not fresher and drier, you can return it for a full refund for up to 12 months. What have you got to lose? Call now. 1-888-618-WAVE. 1-888-618-WAVE. Or visit mydryhome.com. That's mydryhome.com.
Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
What's up, FADERNIGHTs? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring 2 Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hardshell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The 2 full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129, and use the promo code JCRTWS, and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to JimmyChurchRadio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go Beckley Tepe.
This is Kristen, Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRARadio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. Thursday night, Fader Night. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter, at JChurchRadio. Twitter's smoking tonight. And now, everybody that has gone and jumped into the membership section over at JimmyChurchRadio.com, we appreciate that. And we did get a few notices, only a few out of everybody that went and subscribed tonight, about getting locked out. I think that what that is you got to remember, you're going to get a temporary password. And then go in and change it. I did it today successfully and very smooth and simple. But I can understand, getting a little bit confused about the temporary password. But I think everything's, anytime anything like that happens, we're here to help you and we'll get that fixed. So don't freak out. I mean, tons and tons of subscriptions tonight, and only a few that were locked out. And a couple of them were very smart people. I'm not going to say any names. All right, let's go back to Josh. And Josh, very, very interesting experience that you went through. But I want to pick up with where you left off there, which was seeing your dad. Now, the thing is that this is the question that I have, that happened to you. What does that tell you about, going to the other side? And it sounds like your dad, like you visited, right? I mean, you took a visit, right? and
he touched me.
Right. And so what does that tell you now, man? It sounds like it was a wonderful experience, right?
Oh, I didn't want to leave. It was the most peaceful. I listened to the lady before, and that's really what brought this on. Was I was listening to her, description and stuff, and I'm like, man, I didn't feel no pain because I was hurting, and I felt at peace. I felt love. I felt it was a good thing, man. It was just, it was like I didn't want to leave, and that was even before my father came into the. I don't know what you call it, if it was room or what. It was, and I don't want to say clouds or mist. I don't know. It was just white, but there was a rectangle that was just pitch black, and it looked like a doorway, and I didn't want to go, and I don't really remember what, but I guess they'd say they made me go, and but it was I'm sorry, man. It just affects me like that, and I just kind of, and it's been 2010, and it does it. Still to this day, that I talk about it and I just lose it. And but the experience is that they defibrillated me. They thought they weren't getting a pulse and stuff like that. And they did do that. I remember that, and the man telling me that. And but there is more. I mean,
no, I get it. I get it.
More than what's here.
Right. You've seen it. You don't need to question things anymore.
No, not at all. I mean, there is. I don't know what you would call it, but there's more than Earth, more than the planet. There's other dimensions, or I'm not very well educated, but on science and stuff like that.
And we get it, Josh. We get it, and we hear you loud and clear, and this, man. So and again,
there's blessings that came out of this, and that is that my son kept on, was trying to get me to get my ass up out of bed, and I gave up. I just was like, man, it's just I can't see. I'm having to have help to get in the bathtub and all this business. And he said, hey, I'm looking for people in Odessa. That's where I'm from and stuff. And, anybody on time? I was like, no. He goes, come on, it's got to be something. And I said, well, yeah, but she's changed and she's probably married and, whatnot. And, and he said, well, what's her name? And I said, told her the name, and I figured she, but he found her, and she had just changed back to her maiden name about 3 days prior.
Right.
And so he wrote her a letter and told her, I didn't know any of this, and told her, and I get in the car, and she comes and sees me. And it's just, she'd been told that I had died a long time ago, I'm 50, going to be 52, and I guess when about 18 years old, something like that.
Right.
And anyway, 5.5 months later, we're married.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, Josh.
And I am happy. I mean, I've had some work on my eye, and I see just a little bit. I can't drive or anything, but she's my soulmate, and so I look for the good things, and I have been blessed. I got 8 grandkids, It's just unbelievable.
Josh, man, thank you for sharing that with us. What's her name?
I'm sorry?
What's her name?
My last name is Karen.
Karen. And Karen, you're the bomb. And
she is.
And Josh, thank you for sharing, man. Thank you for sharing that. Just an absolutely incredible story. And there you go. And that's why the FADERNIGHTs not only love you, but they love each other, man. We're a family here. And you know this.
I love y'all. I love you, Jimmy, man.
Love you right back, Josh.
Thanks for letting me talk.
Yeah, thank you. And give my best to Karen, will you?
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you so much,
Thank
Josh.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Hi, you're live on... Whoa. You're live on Fade to Black. Turn me down in the background.
Got you.
Okay. There you go. Who's calling?
This is Bill over in Missouri. How you doing, man?
Hey, Bill in Missouri. How are you?
Doing great. Hey, I just thought I'd offer a little thing here that I've been discovering lately.
What's that?
Despite Sessions' his efforts to destroy a lot of things, a lot of big companies are putting money into stocks which are utilizing stuff that is made from the hemp plant.
Uh-huh.
Right now, most of these stocks are in penny stocks.
Okay.
So you can get in for like 4 and 5 cents on the dollar, 4 and 5 cents per share on a stock. And some that have been successful have already jumped 2,000 to 3,000%.
Yeah.
Now you can find this on finance on yahoo.com. Just do a search on cannabis. It's really simple.
Okay. I think that's, I don't think you can really miss.
Hey, is that a good tip or not?
Well, man, you can't miss on penny stocks, and penny stocks that deal with cannabis. In the end, it's a win-win. So I'll go with that. I'm not a financial advisor.
I just wanted to share that with everybody. I was like, hey, anybody got, it takes like, to buy into, you have to have like $1,500 or $2,000 to get an account open somewhere, with any of the investment companies, and then manage it yourself. Study the stocks first. Just do on finance.yahoo. Look who's doing good. Hey, it's a simple thing to You know what's going on and what people are using.
That's it. That's it. Pot is the future. Yeah. That's if Sessions doesn't shut all of this down. So thank you so much.
Well, that's
Bill.
not going. I don't think that's going to happen because they're limited by what they can do. You know, they're not going to be able to shut down. This is big business.
Yeah. Do you
end up being on the bandwagon with it? You know, I mean, that's how it's going to go.
Yeah. Hey, Bill, do you partake in the?
Well, I did when I was younger, but I haven't lately for the last 10, 15 years, and it's not I don't like to be dependent on something like that. You understand what I'm saying?
I do, Bill. Hey, thank you for the phone call.
But I do occasionally get a chance to enjoy.
Yeah, we all do. Hey, Bill, be safe out there.
Hey, I just wanted to give everybody a heads up on, you know, if you got some money, you might want to put it somewhere it's going to turn into a fortune, you know?
You never know, man.
Love you guys, man.
Love you right back, Bill, and thank you for the phone call. And I'm serious about that interesting stock tip. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hi, Jimmy.
Hi.
This is Evan.
Hi, Evan. How are you?
I am so good. I am in a surreal state right now, finally connecting with you on Fade to Black. It feels like I'm in the bunker right
now. So what's cracking, man? Did you hear Bill's stock tip? Cannabis penny stocks.
Cannabis penny stocks, eh?
Yeah.
What was the tip again? Run that by me again.
I don't. He said just go search cannabis on YahooFinance.com and look for the penny stocks. Pretty interesting. You know, I'm not a financial guy, but it sounds like something pretty reasonable. So what's on your mind tonight, Evan?
Me neither. I'll definitely check that out. Well, I just wanted to, you know, show you some love and let you know that I'm always listening. I call in on the number where you play the shows from the night before. And I'm driving around delivering stuff. And even if I've heard the show, like it's a repeat on the weekend or something, I will listen again and again to the same conversation, and it never gets old.
Thank you for that, Evan. What's your favorite thing that you listen to? The subject.
Well, Jimmy, you know, you always say what I really find truth in, and it really is all related, you know? Whether it's UFOs or government conspiracies or Bigfoot, it all ties into one giant alternative narrative to the mainstream story that we've, we're finally waking up to. And you know what you said to John before? You know, you hope that he's smiling when he lays his head down on the cool side of the pillow at night.
Right. I really meant that.
I really hope that you do.
Right.
Yeah, I hope that you do. And, you know, honestly, you're a hero, dude. So many people look up to you, and I'm part of that group, and I can't even believe that I'm talking to you right now. This is so awesome, man.
Evan, I really appreciate it, and you're absolutely right. It's so easy for me and for this audience to see how it is all connected. It is so when you stop and think about it, Evan, and I'm being very serious about this. How could Mene, the first dynasties of Egypt, right, be connected to Bigfoot? But they are, right? It doesn't take much. And I want to thank you for saying that, because that is definitely the mission here. And I really enjoy connecting the dots with everybody and opening up everybody's eyes. And thank you for saying that. I really mean it. Okay. And don't be a stranger on the phones. Call me anytime.
Thank you so much, Jimmy. You are the absolute best.
Thank you.
I just have like a quick question, but if you don't have time, that's fine. I'll call in another time.
Well, I've got a couple of see. Why do you got to say that, Evan? Because now you're not gonna Okay, really quick. Yeah, go ahead. Floor is yours. What's the question?
Yeah, so you know how we were just talking about everything being connected, and there's this whole giant awakening that's happening. Yet at the same time, we have friends and family that think it's all kind of taboo and bogus. And I know that you struggle with it, I struggle with it, all the listeners and people of this movement do, trying to awaken people in the least aggressive way. And I was just curious to know if you have any techniques or methods or, just, I know that peace is the way to go about it. And
well, okay, Evan, let me jump in right there and answer your question. And it's this, and I swear it is so funny. But for those out there that have ever questioned everything that they've been fed, all you got to do is back up and go, dude, you've been listening to fake news for the last year. You've been listening to Fox. You've been listening to MSNBC. You've been listening to CNN. You've been listening to the president. You've been listening to these candidates. Everybody has lied to you. They've been caught now that they know that those. And then we have the fake news websites that people were believing. And that's all you got to do is say to anybody that has questioned everything, the big conspiracy, and go, now what have you got to say? Right? I was the crazy one before, but you've been spoon-fed this. Now where are you going to go with all of this? That's what you do. Now you have bullets in your gun, Evan. And it's a really funny way to look at it, but it's really true. Thank you for the phone call, Evan, and I'm serious. Call me anytime.
Thank you, Jimmy. I love you so much.
Loving you right back, Evan. Thank you for the phone call. All right. I'm going to go straight to Eric. Eric, what's up, my brother? Eric, are you there? Well, that was Awakening Man, and he was there for a second, and now he's gone. Really quick, we're at the end of the show tonight, and so I got to get a couple of things in here really quick. Oh, here comes Les. Hey, Les, how are you?
Good. How are you doing, Jimmy?
I'm doing fantastic. It's a great night, and you're here with us. Stay right there, Les, because I got to get a couple of things in that are breaking news. Number one, military vehicles, bulldozers, riot gear police have all moved into the camp at Standing Rock. I watched it play out live today. Very interesting. The camp was basically abandoned by the time that they got there. There was one brief standoff in the middle, but that's it. I watched all of the live streams, and I think now that the armored vehicles and the show of force, I really hope that they enjoyed the automatic weapons walking through that abandoned camp today. But I thought it was pretty disgusting. But by tomorrow, I think things are finally over there. And there you go. Now, also breaking news, the chemical used in the high-profile killing of the North Korean leader's stepbrother, Kim Jong-un, Fatty Fat, has been identified as VX nerve agent. VX is a highly toxic substance used for chemical warfare. It's classified as a weapon of mass destruction by the United Nations. The Malaysian police said that traces of the VX were identified in preliminary lab reports conducted in their analysis with evidence found at the scene. Swabs were taken from the eye and face of Kim Jong-nam, and it is now officially VX, one of the deadliest chemical weapons that can be used, and it can kill as quickly as 15 minutes. So there you go. All right. Eric's been trying to call in tonight. Let me see if I can do this really quick. I'm going to try. Eric, are you there? Eric. Les, are you there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, I'm trying to let's see here. Let me do this. Eric, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay. Les, are you there? Okay. All right. I cannot I don't have Les. I've got Eric. Eric, really quick, you've been trying to call in and you keep getting disconnected. Are you?
Yeah, I know you don't have a lot of time, so I'll make it short. But maybe next time I'll tell you more stories. But I'm going to throw 3 stories at you, and you pick 1 or 2 that you want to hear from the UFO Congress.
Oh, no, just give me the 60-second one that you can do first. Just give me one. Hurry up.
Okay, so probably the one of the better experiences was I actually got a picture in the cocktail lounge area of a man in black, and John Polk was with me, and we weren't really sure if it was a joke or if this guy was really a man in black. And so I took pictures, and then later I talked to Sebastian Martin, because he was there just hanging out. And he said that another lady saw 3 men in black out in the lobby area, and that one of them had taken Sebastian's cigar that he had left on the table.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, Sebastian told me about that, and I want to get Sebastian on the show to talk about it, but very interesting. So do you think... And really,
quick Bigfoot story, too? You want to hear a real fast one?
Well, actually, I only have 1 minute, and I've got Les on hold, so I've got to get back to Les and then roll out of here. But really quick, do you think that the men in black, you can say yes or no, do you think that they were just paid actors to show up dressed up like that to freak everybody out, or do you think they were actually men in black?
They didn't look like the men in black that I've seen pictures of on the internet, stuff like that. The guy didn't talk to nobody. He wouldn't look at nobody. He wouldn't converse with anybody. It was really strange, and he was just there for like 30 minutes, and then he disappeared, and I don't even know where he went. It was really bizarre. It was.
All right.
I don't know what to tell you on that one.
Well, we'll talk more about this on Monday, Eric. How's that? I want to hear about everything.
I'll give you a call on Monday.
You got it. Thank you so much, Eric.
Okay, buddy. Take care.
You too. All right, Les, are you there, Les? Okay, let's try this again. Les, are you there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, good. Okay, so you heard all of that. Pretty interesting, huh?
No, I didn't. Actually, when I'm on Skype, I can't hear you.
Oh, okay. I thought you heard everything. Well, what a great week on the show. Thank you for getting in here and hanging out with us tonight. What do you think about this membership area that we finally got launched?
I think it's about time.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, man.
I know. It's been something you guys have been working on for a long time.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It's just time. And the time is right, so you do it when the time is right.
Yeah, it's such a cool thing to have this in addition to that everything else that we have out there. And I just want everybody to appreciate the amount of work that we put into getting this done. It was a tremendous effort. But and again, this is Rita, this is Drew. I'm just along for the ride, and they've really, really, really stepped up and done this for all of you. So there you go.
A lot of people don't understand just how much, hours of planning that it actually takes to pull something like that off. It takes a long time, and it takes a lot of work, a lot of sleepless nights.
Yeah, for everybody else out there that does something like this, where they have a team and a company and dozens of people and all. No, not this. This is with love. Drew, Rita, and myself, and and it's actually working. That's the shocker. So there you go. Thank you so much, Les. Get us out of here, my brother.
Yes, sir. Special thanks to Jon Rappoport and all the first-time callers and FADERNIGHTs who phoned home tonight. Fade to Black executive producer is Rita Kamurian. Special thanks to LJ3, that's me, Renee, Jonas, Mark. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Brother Bob. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Bateau, and Mark D. Kovar. Fadey by Dale. Webmaster is Drew, the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy, spaceboymusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network. Syndication is KGRA The Planet. And with that, for another week, Jimmy and I are out of here.
Thank you so much, Les. LJ3.
Good night, sir.
Good night. That's what I'm talking about. This broadcast is only copyrighted 2017 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Until Monday, I'll see everybody tomorrow night on Coast to Coast. My guest will be Corey Good. Saturday night, Jim Mars and Gavin Kelly. Until then, everybody be safe. Go Beckley Tepe.